Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is our Game of Thrones after episode open discussion. Just in case you can't tell, if you haven't seen this week's episode of Game of Thrones, you probably don't want to be here because we're going to give all the spoilers away. What I'm also calling this episode is the I've told you for years that Dany's a jerk. I don't want to hear no more of this. John, she's just lost so much. I don't want to hear about it anymore. She's a jerk. She's an absolute jerk. Proved it today. And of course, joining me here in the jerkdom is my wife. Ann Campea is
what
here.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. We're here celebrating Dany's jerkness. Oh, you got the Targaryen shirt there on?
Hey, everyone.
You're walking the Targaryen shirt today?
You know, it's like Slytherin. The same.
Wow. A lot of stuff went down this episode. This episode. So starting with what I thought. I mean, with the dragons, they took time. They figured out, okay, this is how we beat those stupid Lancer catapult things. And they wiped everything out, marching in there. It starts with Tyrion begging her to be a good queen. But you could tell right away that she's far gone. And they've been planting these seeds, Anne.
Yeah.
They've been planting these seeds for seasons now.
Yeah.
Giving us little glimpses into her that she's all about. Dany is all about Dany. And they've showed us little glimpses of that for years. And it's come to full fruition. And that whole Targaryen bloodlust thing going and all this kind of stuff. We had the Mountain versus the Hound fight that we've been waiting for so long to see.
Yeah.
We had Jaime and Cersei dying in each other's arms. We had Greyjoy dying. We had, I mean, there was a lot that went on in this episode and a lot to process. What did you take away from it?
A lot of death.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we all knew what was going to happen in this episode, but it's still hard to watch, right? I mean, it's one thing to see an episode where all the White Walkers go down because
they're White Walkers.
They're meant to die. But then you see these, innocent townspeople that are just getting smoked. And I had said on my Twitter before the show started that I thought we were going to experience a Thanos snap. I didn't think it would be to this proportion.
Right.
At least in terms of the final scene when Arya's riding away on that white stallion.
That I think Bran sent to her.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
That there was really nobody left in that town. So it was, I mean, I think it was expected by all of us that Dany was going to kind of turn into the Mad Queen in this episode. I just didn't think it would come to that. I also am surprised that Dany never once thought to aim the dragon fire closer to where at least they think she would have thought Cersei would have been.
Well, she was attacking the Red Keep.
Yeah.
And she was bringing the Red Keep down. I guess she didn't know exactly where Cersei was going to be in there, but she was attacking. What I suspected going in was that when it came to the full-out slaughter of the city, I didn't think she'd do that.
No.
But I thought she would do something that would tip her hand, that would finally, her true colors would come out, that Dany's all about Dany, and she's more interested in the throne than anything else. She's not about the good of the people like she's been parading around this whole time. But I thought it would come like killing Varys at the end of the episode, or I thought it would become like sentencing Sansa to die, like I thought she was going to order Jon Snow to go back to Winterfell to kill Sansa.
Yeah.
Or something like that, right? I didn't think it was going to be the full-on slaughter of thousands of innocent people.
I think, but that's exactly the magnitude that had to happen to convince characters like Jon Snow, who continues to bend the knee for Dany, right? I mean, we heard him say it again, she's my queen. And it took all of that for Arya to kind of turn as well, like, what the heck is going on? So I think a lot of them, unfortunately, found out the hard way. Even Tyrion, I think, was finally like, no, I can't be your hand anymore. You're crazy.
Oh yeah, something's got to break. And I can't believe we only have one episode left. But one of the things I thought they did really well, and they talked about it after the show, was that letting us walk through the city with Arya. Because they said something really interesting in that post-show thing where it's like, it's one thing to show us all the suffering going on in the streets. It's another thing when we're going through it and we're looking at it through the eyes of a character we care about. And for Arya to go through, and I thought it was brilliant the way that woman and daughter helped her. And the last straw for her, I think, was the woman and daughter then getting burned alive by Dany and her dragon, right?
Yeah.
And that made it so much more poignant. And she didn't get to kill Sansa. I think she got a new target now. Or Cersei. She didn't get to kill Cersei. I think she's got a new target now. I think she's like, this Daenerys has got to go. And it'll be really interesting to see how Tyrion responds. It'll be interesting to see how Arya responds. It'll be interesting to see. Now, we already know how Grey Worm's going to respond because, what's his name?
Grey Worm, right?
It is Grey Worm, yeah.
The Unsullied.
We know how he's going to respond. He's all for it.
Yeah.
They killed my Sunday, right? They killed her, so I want to kill them all. The Dothraki love it.
Yeah.
The Dothraki love pillaging and murdering people, so that's great. So we know that. Is the dragon going to have to pick a side because they're both Targaryen?
Yeah, I was actually pondering that myself. If somebody goes after Dany, is the dragon going to defend her?
I mean, she is his mother, but he's Targaryen. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I just can't believe they're going to resolve all this in one episode.
Right.
And we've been saying, I believe that this everything was going to hit the fan tonight because the tradition of Game of Thrones has been the big stuff happens on the second to last episode. Resolutions come in the final episode. And they've now got, 80 minutes? 80 minutes to wrap this thing up. It's going to be tough and it's going to be a challenge. I loved this episode. I mean, it's not my favorite episode of the season, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had a lot of people. Oh, by the way, a bunch of you are probably wondering where is Kaori tonight. Corey is off in England, so she's not here tonight. So she'll be back for next week's show. Don't worry about that. But listen, what we really want to do is spend most of this evening taking your questions. We want to hear what you guys have to say, your thoughts about this whole thing. I did not see that full-fledged slaughter coming. I really didn't. I know they talked about it. They teased it with the discussions between Varys and Tyrion and the Queen, but I never thought they'd go there, and they did. And yeah, it was something disturbing. All right, let's go and start taking your guys' questions. All right, we're going to start things off here with Jerome Lim, who just writes, "Damn, yeah, no kidding. And by the way, incredibly cinematic."
Oh, again, yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing was like damn movie quality. I mean, this thing was absolute movie quality.
Same guy who did the other battles, right? So I think he's done really well with those exterior kind of, this is the full-blown picture shots, going into the interior, following Arya or whoever around. It's been great. All
right, let's keep going on here. John Hatch just sends in a super chat. Thanks, John. Mr. Hero 17 writes, Daenerys Targaryen went too far this time. Even Jon saw it. She's turning into a true Targaryen, like her brother and father. At first, I was rooting until she started killing kids and families. I mean, you just summed it all up, Mr. Hero. Like, you just summed it up completely. But again, the point I would make is that they have been showing us glimpses of this for years now. We've been seeing for a few seasons now, them showing us glimpses of this. That she is really more about herself. She is more about her throne. She is more about all that than all that grand talk we heard from her in the first 3 seasons about, I'm going to break the wheel and I'm going to be the breaker of chains and blah, blah. This has been all about her building her army so she can go and get what she wants. And the moment something reared its head that could stand in her way, she went nuts. And we saw that Targaryen bloodlust. I don't know, Anne, is there any redemption for Dany at this point? Like, can we still get Dany on the throne at the end of the next episode and it be a happy ending? Like, is that even possible at this point?
No, it's not. I mean, she just slaughtered innocent people. At this point, who is she even reigning over? If it's not the Dothraki and the Unsullied that are left and maybe a few townsfolk, like, really, what are you the queen of now? I mean, I know there's other kingdoms, but just to start there you're off kind of to a bad start if you need people to follow you that are, willing to follow you, not following you in fear. So I just can't see anything that she could do at this point that would redeem her as a character.
But remember, that's what she said to Jon, right? It's like, then it's fear. Fear then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, and sure enough, she did. She decided at that moment, hey, I can get everybody to fear me if I just slaughter everybody. All right, Emmanuel writes, the The Clegan Bowl made me want Highlander remake. Yes, that did feel a lot like the Highlander, didn't it? Oh God, they have built up to that fight for so long. And when they showed us that epic shot of Mountain at I have the high ground, Mountain at the top of the stairs, Hound down here, staring at each other. God, that's a poster. I would love that poster. It was amazing. I love the way it ended too. Apex Caliber writes, the Night King should have saved us from this bad writing. I disagree. I think the writing's been great. I disagree with all these people. There's a bunch of people who think that I think the writing's been great. I've been getting everything that I want out of the season. Of course, I'm just one guy. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm loving the writing this season. Anthony DeRizzo writes, so much for the Golden Company. Love that moment between Tyrion and Jaime in the tent. That was a great scene. That was a really nice moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't think, though, it would be their last together. I really didn't. Yeah, I thought it was a great moment, but I thought him and Cersei were going to get away. Right until they ran to that door, got to the door that was clogged in, I still thought they were going to get away. Or Arya was going to slip in behind them and kill them. I don't know. But I didn't think, when it was going on, I didn't think it was their last scene together. But I really liked it. I thought it was sweet. What did you think about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing with those two characters is they've gone through so much that in all of the evil things that Cersei has done, for some reason, I still partially have a heart for what she's gone through.
She's gone through a lot. Loss of her children, the whole shame thing.
Yeah.
Having a husband that didn't love her. And she's been through a lot.
So much. And so if we all kind of speculated how she would die in this episode, but I actually didn't expect her to die in Jaime's arms like that. So I'm actually very happy at the way those two characters went out together. I thought it was a really sweet moment, but at the same time, it's unfortunate because there's two main characters that are now gone.
Well, we do only have one episode left.
And Tyrion's the only Lannister now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the last one left.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that. All right. Lone Wolf writes, the Hound fight, holy shit. Yeah, it was great. I mean, and I just love the fact when he stabbed him through the gut and then looked up at him and saw him still coming, the Hound was just... You got to be kidding me. That moment was great, and I loved that fight. Charlie15Z writes, she's not just a jerk anymore. She's a mass-murdering psychopath.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you're right. It's gone beyond just being a jerk. It is... But it is the road they've been leading us to, right?
It's not a surprise.
No. I had a friend of mine write to me. He's like, well, that sort of came out of nowhere. And I said, but it hasn't come out of nowhere. They've been planting these seeds since season 5.
If we go and rewatch the amount of things that Dany has done where you're like, that's questionable, but you know what? She's still a good person. So let's just move on. I'm sure you can start to add up all of the times that happen.
Yeah, but I mean, even I was like, okay, look. In the realm of good guy or bad guy, Dany's a good guy. She's just a real jerk. She's all about herself, but she's still a good guy. I guess I was wrong. No, she's not. All right, let's see here. Apex writes, Ballistics, nope. Golden Company, nope. Game of Thrones Season 7, why?
Oh.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, because the Golden Company was supposed to be a big... I mean, they helped, right? In the Season 7 battles. So the fact that they kind of just went out like that was...
But that's what was going to happen. I thought it was great. I loved it. Joe Byram writes, WTF, but Sir McGregor, I have the high ground. That's exactly what I was saying, Joe. I was half expecting him when him and the Hound were staring each other down. I was half expecting him to make a comment about the high ground. I'm glad they didn't, though. Amir B writes, oh my dear God, amazing. That was so scary, chills. I'm telling you what, the cinematography in this of them running through the cities, the suffering, the panic, the fear, the chaos of it all, the slaughter of it all, they let you feel it. Mm-hmm. And for a television show, and that was remarkable. Diego Mendez writes, that scene when Dany goes mad, man, I've never had my mouth wide open for that much time. Love the episode. It was so unexpected in so many ways. Again, Diego, I'm with you on that because I didn't expect the full slaughter. I expected something to happen to have Dany show her deep down true colors, but I didn't think it would be to that degree. And when she's looking at the castle, even when she's on, the bells are ringing, the gates are opening, the city is surrendered, the soldiers have laid down their swords, and she keeps looking at the Red Keep, and she's gritting her teeth, and I thought, oh, she's going to go slaughter Cersei.
Right.
And that'll make Tyrion go, why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I didn't think she was about to destroy the city. I didn't. Even at that point, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And we had like 8 of us here at our place watching it tonight. And we're just like,
And it was, somebody pointed it out that was watching with us. It was literally like the dragon was a perfectionist on the map, trying to cover every inch
square
forward,
inch up and down the aisle.
moving forward. And it was terrifying.
What about the death of Cersei's hand?
Oh, yeah. So unexpected.
Man, you will obey your queen.
Yeah.
Dead. Just like,
Yeah. Gregor, Sir Gregor.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
That was
I love
so
that.
Crazy.
Okay, let's move on here. Apex Cowboy writes, Cersei, say hi to Ned,
Aww.
Kat, Rob, Marjorie, and Olenna. Who was Olenna? I don't remember Olenna.
I don't either. Was that the childhood friend?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Again, I'm not the hardest of hardcore Game of Thrones fans. I'm just a TV fan who's been enjoying the show.
If they do some cheesy, like, here's the afterlife of all of them together, all happy and
kind of like
crap,
Gladiator.
do not do it.
Do you think there's a possibility that they might do something bad where midway through the final episode, Cersei and Jaime come crawling out of the rubble or something like that?
Well,
I hope they don't.
It would be kind of funny. I hope they don't do it because the other person we didn't actually definitively see die, I don't think, is Euron.
That's true.
I mean, he said, I'm the one who killed Jaime Lannister, but then they cut.
They cut away before he dies. So. I think he's dead, and I think they're dead. I think Jaime and Cersei are dead, but I hope they don't do that. That would be cheesy, to say the least. Lone Wolf writes, you never treated me like a monster. That, again, going back to that Jaime Tyrion scene in the tent.
Yeah, my God.
It was special. It was tender. It was having him say, I never thought I'd have a chance to repay you. I mean, because, Jaime let him free when he was in chains. It was a powerful scene, and I still didn't think it was their last scene together. And I'm going to have to go back and watch the episode again. And now knowing that that's their final moments together, it might break me a little bit when I go back and watch it like that again. Cameron Belgrade writes, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Of course, the quote from Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight. And truer words were never spoken. I don't care what anyone says. I'm loving this season. I'm in full agreement with you, Cameron. I mean, look, it's all this entertainment stuff is all subjective, and some people are going to like something, and some people aren't going to like it. But when I hear people say they don't like this season of Game of Thrones, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, it's all subjective. I don't have to get it, and that's perfectly fine. And again, I'm not the hardest of hardcore Game of Thrones fans. I haven't read the books. I don't know all the family lines, none of that. I'm just a TV fan who I'm watching this show, and I'm eating this up. I think this has been spectacular and great. And you're right. True words from The Dark Knight have never applied more than you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's kind of the song of Daenerys Targaryen, I guess. Willow Yang writes, final prediction. Who gets the Iron Throne? $1 billion question, Willow.
Yeah. Clearly, it's not Cersei.
It ain't Cersei ain't going to be on it. Jaime's not going to be on it. Tyrion is still a possibility.
Sansa's still around.
Here's how I could see it being Tyrion.
Jon.
That it goes to Jon. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Dany. I think they're going to deal with Dany, I believe. It's going to go to Jon, and Jon's going to say something along the lines of, I've never wanted it, but he's going to look at Tyrion and say, like, you're the wisest man I've ever known. And maybe just as the queen's sister, as the queen's brother, I mean, as Cersei's brother, he might say, you take the throne to Tyrion. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, the obvious answer is Jon. But because it's so obvious, I wonder if they'll do that. But can you see anybody else other than Jon on the throne?
I actually would really love Sansa to be on the throne. I've always cheered for her as a character.
Yeah, Jon may turn to her and say, I've never known a wiser person than you.
But I feel like she's only really interested in Winterfell, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Her home. So for me, I mean, I would love to see Tyrion, but I'm almost leaning towards what Corey's been saying this whole time, that it just becomes a republic.
I don't see that happening.
Because
Dany was the only one ever talking in terms that could lead to something like that. But obviously that's not going to be the case. I don't know.
But it's not going to be Dany. Do we agree on that?
No, I think Dany doesn't live through this. I just can't see Dany living through this now.
Yeah.
She's done. I think she's done. Tyler Birdman writes, I'm still in shock. R.I.P. to my man, Jamie. Yeah. What a way to go. But he died the way he probably would have wanted to die. He died with his sister. And in a way, the prophecy about Cersei's death kind of becomes true in a way. He led her down there thinking he was leading her out, and that's what got her killed. So, I mean, in a way, kind of fulfilled that. Yeah, it was touching. Ben Rayner writes, death count 7 of main people. Wow.
Yeah.
Was it just 7?
That's a lot.
I mean, but I almost feel like there was more because Jaime, Cersei, Mountain Hound,
Euron.
Euron.
Who are we missing?
Cersei's hand, whatever his name
Kraber.
is. Maybe it was. Okay, for some reason on top of my head, I felt like it was a lot more than that. But yeah, it's still a pretty good count.
Are we missing someone? Who's the 7th?
I'm sure we're missing somebody.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head who it might be though. Oh,
Varys.
Varys, of course.
Yep.
Chris Houston writes, Queen Dany said, "We are gonna stop this now." Great. Yeah, great. Matt Makowski writes, this episode sucked. Oh, I disagree, Matt. And so has the whole season. Again, completely disagree with you, brother. They built up the Night King to be the biggest threat, and he died by being killed by a little girl. Dany was supposed to be kind and not the Mad Queen. Here's the problem, Matt. It sounds to me like the show didn't do what you wanted it to do. But it did, which we should never enter into movies or TV shows looking for what we want the show to do. The stuff with Dany is, I've been telling you for years, ever since season 5 minimum, that they have been tipping her hand. They have been giving us clues and hints and planting seeds that she's not right, that she's a jerk. And they have been laying the foundation for that for years. The Night King was never supposed to be what this show is about. The show isn't called The White Walkers. The show's called Game of Thrones. This show has always been about the throne. The White Walkers have been the main secondary story that runs through the show, but it has never been the main driving plot of the story. It's certainly served to further the plot of a lot of stories with Jon and the Wall and the Night's Watch and all that kind of stuff, but the heart of the show has always been the Iron Throne. And I was perfectly happy with them ending the Night King and the White Walker stuff killed by the girl with no name, which I thought was perfectly appropriate. And again, they revealed that had been planned since like season 3. They had planned since like season 3 that Arya was going to be the one to kill the Night King. So that had been laid out a long time ago. And I've been loving it. And again, Matt, I'm just saying to you, brother, it sounds to me like you're a victim of, you set up your own expectations about what you think the show should do, and then it doesn't do it, and then you didn't like it. Now, there are going to be other people that just watch a show and just don't like it. And that's fine. There are people who don't like The Godfather. There are people who don't like Ben-Hur. There are people who don't like The Dark Knight. That's fine. That's the subjectivity of entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I can't say you're wrong, Matt, because that's your opinion. That's how you felt. Your opinion is no less and no more valid than mine. All I can say is that I completely disagree. I think it's been thoroughly entertaining. I thought the drama's been riveting. I think the character work has been great. And they went with Dany exactly where they've been showing us Dany was going. They've been showing us this for years, man. They've been showing it for years. And it kind of went the way they said it was going to go, basically. But again, you watched it, and it didn't hit you the right way, and it did not work for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wish it did, but it didn't. I'm happy that it did work for me, but there you go. Okay, next one. Cameron Belgrade writes, people say this ruined Dany's character development, haven't been watching the show. She's shown this before. She just decided to act on it. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and everything from, I mean, we were getting signs of it before she murdered Sam's dad and brother, but that was a great example of, this is the arrow. What's that thing called that farmers have on top of their house when the wind blows, it points the arrow in a certain way? Is it
I forget.
I forget the name of it, but you know, it's got to usually have a chicken on top. It shows you which way the wind's blowing. That was kind of that. It was that arrow on the roof point. It was like, if you really want to see what she's all about, really, this is what she's all about.
You know what it feels like? It feels like your friend that's dating that really awful person, and everybody around that person sees it, except for that person that's dating the person. We're like, no, that person's not a great person at all, but they just refuse to they don't pick up the same signs that everybody else has been picking up on.
That's a great analogy. I like that. That's a good analogy. And it's true. They've been laying the foundation for this for years.
Yeah.
We've seen it coming. We've talked about it. No, John, she's fine. Anyway, okay. Ben Rayner writes, you were right, John. Danny's a jerk, and it's Danny v. John. It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. I don't know if it's going to be straight up Danny v. John. It might be Tyrion. You know, it might be Arya. Arya's got to be mad as hell right now. She's a little vengeance machine, and she just watched Danny slaughter these people. And she was in there on the ground, including this really kind woman and her daughter who saved her, only to watch Danny's fry them alive for no other reason than the fact that they were in the city. I mean, I just don't know which way they're going to go with that. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Canada Rocks writes, I'm already seeing complaints that Jaime didn't kill Cersei. I loved how they died. Kept trying to tell people that the brother killing her prophecy was only in the books. Awesome episode. And the funny thing is, Canada Rocks, is that to me, it almost was. He is the one, although it wasn't his intention, he's the one who brought her down there. And he got her killed. I mean, so there is a way you could say that lived it up, but I think they finished it off appropriately. He stood against her, but at the end, he wanted to save her. And I love the fact that they kept it in the middle ground like that for Jaime. It wasn't black or white for Jaime. It was a lot of shades of gray.
Yeah.
You know, he left her to go and join the North to fight for them, so he stood against her there, but he doesn't want her to die. She's the love of his life, the mother of his children. She's carrying his current child, and he still wanted to save her. I like the way they did that, and they played it true to the character, and I thought that was good. I didn't think they were going to die down there, though, Anne, did you?
No, I did not expect it, but as soon as they made their way down there and there was just no way out, you just knew what was coming. But that moment was really touching, even just between the two actors who've been playing those characters for several years now.
Yeah. Nutty. Okay. Ryan Lohner writes, at least Cersei knows she was the better Sarah Connor. She was the better. Yes. Between her and what's the Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, that's right.
Out of the two of them,
that's funny.
Cersei was the better Sarah Connor. Make no mistake about it. She absolutely was. Good observation there, Ryan. All right. Incomplete Control writes, prophecy fulfilled. Jaime leads Cersei to her death. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, that it kind of really does fulfill the prophecy. Not the way we thought it would be fulfilled, but that's quite often how prophecies are. Emmanuel Eckhart writes, why is people mad that she turned out like the Mad King? She has been a jerk since for a long time ago, and she showed that she just cares about the throne. I completely agree. Again, like I said, I had a buddy of mine text me. It's like, well, that came out of nowhere. It's like, I've been telling you, like talking to my friend specifically, I've been telling you for years her true colors were rotten. I've told you for years. Don't now stand up and go, well, that came out of nowhere. No, it did not. This is exactly what they've been pointing towards. They've showed us this the whole time. So I'm completely with you, Emmanuel. That doesn't mean you have to like it. Not at all. That doesn't mean you have to like it. I'm just saying, don't act surprised. Say, well, that just came out of nowhere. That was completely out of character for her. No, it wasn't. People have been talking for seasons and seasons now that she has shown when her guard is down and when the chips are really on the table, what she's all about. And Dany is all about Dany. And it's just been making it more and more obvious as we've been getting closer. But anyway, that's just the way I saw it. Okay. Dylan Robbins writes, she could have just flown to the tower.
I know.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I thought she was gonna do. When she's on the dragon, the bells are ringing. Okay, soldiers laying down their swords. I thought, oh, she's gonna snap and go take down the Red Keep, killing Cersei, and that's gonna piss off Tyrion and make people wonder. Oh, that's kind of a lot of bloodlust in her, and make people wonder. I didn't think she was actually gonna slaughter. I really didn't. And some of you, I'm sure you did call it. I'm sure some of you knew she's going to... I didn't. I'm the one who knew she was a jerk, and I didn't think she would do that. But some of you guys called that, and I didn't think that was going to happen. Lone Wolf X6 writes, I was right to guess Arya might try to kill Dany now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they painted that picture very vividly with Arya going through the city, seeing the pain, seeing the destruction, seeing the carnage, seeing the slaughter. and Arya is a little vengeance machine. That's what she is. And now she's got a purpose, and I think she's going to want to kill Dany. What I really want to see, Anne, is I want to see Arya and Jon have a scene together early in the next episode.
I don't know that there's going to be any time. Do you think they're going to catch each other before? I mean, again, we just saw the trailer, so there might be some time before she reaches where Dany is at.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking that if the Hound didn't turn Arya away, Arya would have killed Cersei, and then it would have just been like, for what? Because Dany's the crazy one now. Dany would have been the one that they needed to go after anyway.
But I do want to see that conversation. I would love to see that conversation.
Yeah.
And she's just got to be to Jon like, look, your boo is dead.
Well, I feel like they both saw it at the same time.
Yeah.
They both made that realization in this episode. So I don't think it would take a lot for her to convince Jon that she's gone crazy.
No, Jon might be there himself already, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going here. Santez Henderson writes, love this episode, but man, she's nuts. Also, while some are blaming Jon, think on the fact that Cersei pressed every button she could to make this happen. Oh, absolutely. Look, and one of the great things about this show is, let's not pretend that there wasn't some, what's the word I'm looking for? Instigation, provocation. Let's not pretend there wasn't any provocation. I agree there was. The beheading of my Sunday, that was pretty much as rough. Killing her dragon, killing her friend, all the other crap.
Had just died.
The fact that she straight up betrayed them by saying, I'll come and fight with you guys in Winterfell, and then she doesn't show up. I mean, let's not pretend she doesn't have built-in provocation. It doesn't justify what she did, but you're right. They had them pressing her buttons all day. They were pressing her buttons all day. Tyler Bergman writes, Jorah would be disappointed in Khaleesi.
Aww.
Yep. I think even Jorah would have been ashamed of her.
Totally.
Even then. Yeah.
The combination of Jorah and Missandei by her side, they would have calmed her down, but they're both gone.
I don't know if Missandei would have calmed her down. I think she would have, get him. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. Alex Haina writes, I understand Weiss and Benioff want to subvert expectations and not do the obvious thing, but there's something to be said about a satisfying ending, and that was downright not satisfying. I don't know what you're talking about. I that's fine if it dude, if it wasn't satisfying to you, that was your experience and you can't debate it. That was your experience with it. I found it outstanding. I found it outstanding. This is where they had been leading us this whole time with Dany. And now they're leading us into the final episode. How is this all going to be resolved? That's the big question. But I think they did a couple. I think they subverted expectations and made it incredibly satisfying. So disagree with you on that, my friend. Disagree with you. Alex continues and writes, well, at least Endgame stuck the landing and gave us a satisfying conclusion.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not. Endgame is filled with massive plot holes. But anyway.
There's one more episode.
And there is another episode to go. That wasn't the ending of the series. There is another episode to go. Make no mistake about it. There's another episode to go. Lone Wolf X6 writes, beautiful cinematography in this episode. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. It was gorgeous. It felt incredibly cinematic. One of our friends who was here tonight actually didn't like the episode, but she loved the cinematography. She was just commenting the whole time through. I think even if you're somebody who didn't appreciate the episode, which is cool, but even if you're somebody who didn't, I think you got to appreciate the cinematography. It was gorgeous. Kyle Macero writes, some exceptional cinematography this episode. Wow, completely agree. Can't be overstated. Apex Caliger writes, shot Rhaegal 3 times, but no Drogon. How sway how? I don't know what that means. How sway how?
I don't know, but I think because Drogon is the strongest, I kept saying strongest dragon, like strongest Avenger. But he is the strongest dragon. So I did expect her to be able to kind of win over the battle with just and remember, Drogon.
The last one was shot because they caught them by surprise.
Yeah.
They didn't see it coming. It was totally by surprise. This time they were able to plan it out and figure out, okay, this is what we'll have to do. We'll have to come in high. We'll then have to go low, blah, blah, blah.
And once we take risks.
What do they call the guy said there was a name for those lance catapults. What was it, like the scorpion? Did they call them scorpions or
I don't know.
Something like that. Anyway, once they took those out, then it was just shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy at that point. Let's see. Lone Wolf writes, you come with me, you die. Here, Sandor, thank you. Cry time, cry time. Oh, yeah. It was a great moment. It was the summation of a very long road going back to what, season 2 or 3?
Yeah. I think they met in 2 or 3.
This has been a long road that the two of them have shared together, and it was a great moment. I agree. It was a great moment. Let's see. Alex writes, I'll wait to see the finale before deciding, but I feel like this might be one of the most disappointing endings to any TV show. They just really missed the mark on this one. We'll see, I guess. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, dude, and that's cool. It's all subjective. I'm flabbergasted, but I just don't get it. That's okay. Like, I don't get how anybody likes country music, but they do. And so I don't judge that. That's fine. I don't get how people like ketchup on eggs, but hey, some people do, and that's fine. I don't get that opinion about this season. I really don't. I think it's, again, I'm not heavily invested. I don't know the family lines. I'd never read the books. I never will. But just as somebody watching TV, I'm watching this. I'm thinking this is flat out freaking brilliant. Like top 5. I just think it's outstanding and spectacular. The drama, the inter-character dynamics that are going on. I just think it's outstanding. I think it's absolutely freaking outstanding. But again, not everybody's going to feel the same way. And that's the great thing about entertainment, man, is it all hits us in different ways. Lycon Zero writes, people upset about Drogon not getting speared seem to completely miss the fact that the other 2 dragons only died because they didn't have riders.
Good point.
I don't know if it was only because they didn't have riders. I mean, the first Viserion, is that how you say his name? Was taken out by the Night King. I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. The second one was taken down completely by surprise. Like, that came out of nowhere. They weren't expecting that. They didn't know those things were being built. All that kind of stuff took them completely by surprise. This time, they knew what they were facing. They went in prepared. They had a strategy. They executed the strategy. And I think that's why when Jaime and Tyrion were talking, Tyrion said so confidently to Jaime, no, the city's going to fall. Because he knew, oh yeah, we've got it worked out how we're going to take care of those catapults. All we got to do is come in high, then go low, and don't give them time to readjust their stuff, and we'll take them out. And I think that's part of the reason why he was so confident talking to Jaime. He's like, look, this isn't a question. This isn't if we win. The city is falling tomorrow. Know that. It's happening. And I think that was a big distinction there. All right. Nicholas Noriega writes, I think Tyrion would do best on the throne. Do you? I think Jon would do best on the throne. But other than that, I agree with you, Nick. I think Tyrion would be look, he fought for the city against his own queen. He kept arguing with her to the last minute, trying to save the people. He's brilliant. He's got empathy. He knows loyalty, but he also knows the consequences of loyalty. I think he'd be a great king on the throne. I don't know. And can you say anybody else other than Jon or maybe Tyrion that would really be good on the throne?
Like I said, I love Sansa's story arc,
That's
so
true.
I've been cheering for her as well. But I think the Tyrion we see today is not the Tyrion that we started with. So if you were to ask me if I would take Tyrion as the person on the throne in season 1, I would say no, absolutely not. But I think it's all of the experiences he's had throughout each season that has really created who he is today. And I think this version of Tyrion can very well rule the Seven Kingdoms.
I agree. All right, Timothy Plott writes, she called him Sandor, cry time.
I know.
It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful, Timothy. Storm Chaser 78 writes, well, did not see that coming battle. Arya will become a lady. Proposal accept. Tyrion will kill Dany. Ooh, I mean, actually, I hadn't thought about it because Tyrion can probably still get close to her. True. Maybe, maybe there's something to be said there, Storm Chaser, but Arya going, you know what? I can go kill this Dany girl, but I'm going to take his advice.
And live a life.
And I'm going to live my life. Maybe she goes and finds Gendry.
Yeah.
Accepts the proposal. I think there's that's the thing. There's so many directions this thing can go in the final episode. I don't know. It feels like we need 3 more episodes, though. I'll be honest, it really does.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm concerned about right now, is that it feels like we need 3 more episodes, but let's see what they've got in mind. Alex Haney writes, Jaime and Cersei deserved a better ending. I thought it was a great ending.
I don't think so.
No, I don't either. I thought it was a great ending. They died together. They died down there. And with all the chaos and carnage going on, that type of a death seems likely.
Yeah.
It actually seems likely to me.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Brandon Hauser writes, Season 4, Episode 2, Bran had a vision where he saw the Great Hall destroyed and covered in what looks like snow, but now I realize it was ashes. Great observation. Great observation. I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, there's a lot of these old things coming back up and doing this, but that does raise an interesting question, Ann, that we were talking around the TV together with everybody. It's like, what role does Bran have to play in the rest? Is Bran now done on the show, or does he show up in the capital now? I mean, I don't know. Do you think Sansa shows up with Bran? And there's a Stark family council going on, or I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like they're not, I don't know. Part of me thinks they're not leaving Winterfell, and I think whatever Bran needs to do, he doesn't necessarily physically have to be there to do it. So like That's true. Saying, if the stallion we saw at the end of the episode was of Bran's doing, then he can orchestrate what he needs to by not even being in King's Landing.
That's true.
And I do think by going to King's Landing, they leave themselves vulnerable. So I can't see them going there, but
think about this.
We'll see.
What if Brienne of Tarth shows up?
Yeah.
Finds out Jaime is dead because Dany went nuts and sacked the city.
I mean, Tyrion alone should be pissed because his siblings are gone. I mean, whether he loves Cersei or not, or, obviously he cared for Jaime, like his family is now gone.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to be mad, it's going to be him.
I think there's going to be a lot of mad to go around. Well, yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of really mad people. All right, let's keep going here. Robert Johnson writes, after 8 years, I never thought that I would have sympathy for Cersei, hate Daenerys, think Tyrion was dumb, and blame Jon for everything. I mean, Jon, that's the thing. They have stayed so true to his character. He is an oath keeper. He is loyal. And he's like, look, I pledge to you that you are my queen, and I'm going to stick with that. And at some point, I think we saw in his face in the city that resolve breaking, realizing that Varys was right, and Sansa was right. And it's going to be neat to see a guy of that much conviction. What is that breaking point? Because I think we saw him break in there. Like, do you think he's already made up his mind, or do you think the mind making up comes in the next episode? I think he's already decided that.
I think he's already done it.
Yeah, you think he can see it now?
The same way you could see it in Dany's eyes when she snapped. You could see the realization come over him.
Yeah.
In this episode.
I agree. All right, let's see. Matt Mikowski writes, the end of Game of Thrones is going to be worse than Dexter.
Oh.
I don't see.
What was the end of Dexter?
It was the one where his sister died and he disappeared and became a fisherman. I
don't know.
I don't see any reason to believe that. Robert Johnson writes, has it been established if Jon is fireproof or not? If it hasn't, I need for Daenerys to try and burn publicly, then watch him walk through the flames. Dude, I think you just exactly hammered on something that's going to happen in this next episode. I think, you ordered the soldiers out when I wanted them to continue. And what's the word she says to her dragons? Chikaris or whatever it is. And they're going to flame him up, and he's just going to walk out and say, look at that.
And then I just want to hear the Stone Cold Steve Austin music play as he walks through the fire. Well, that's like a mix of Triple H and Stone Cold, but that's fine. But some sort of epic.
Breaking glass. Yeah, no, that wasn't the game. That wasn't Motorhead in the game. But and he said, give me a hell yeah. That would be funny to see. Okay, let's see. Jack Leo writes, I'm shocked to see how negative people are feeling about this season. I am loving every episode. This one might be my favorite so far. I ate this one up, Jack. It's not my favorite so far this season, but I agree with you. I've loved this season just as a television fan. Again, I am not a shirt-wearing, card-carrying Game of Thrones fanatic. I'm not. I was actually kind of lukewarm on the show for the first few seasons. It's been growing on me lately. But I got to tell you, I've loved this. I've absolutely loved it. And now I'm watching some of the hardcore fans eating themselves. And I'm like, Okay, I mean, that's fine, I guess, but you guys go ahead and complain. If it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you. Great, but I'm just going to sit here and just keep enjoying it because I think this has been fabulous. Anyway, Diego Mendez writes, it was really interesting that Tyrion had absolutely no doubt that they were going to win the battle. He seems so certain about it. You're absolutely Diego. And I didn't even really think too much about that until Anne, like we were saying, realized, oh, that's right. They had developed a strategy, how with one dragon to take those things out.
Wait a minute.
Because what?
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say, because that's the only thing that's holding them back. Because if they get rid of those, I don't think they call them scorpions, but whatever. Once they get rid of those lance catapult things, there was nothing else stopping the dragon. There's nothing to stop the dragon. So to me, it was like, oh, that's why he was so 100% certain about it, because they knew they'd worked out that strategy. But you had a thought?
I just wonder how far out Bran has been able to see in that. Was there anything in the conversation that Bran had with Tyrion that tipped him off that there's a foreshadowing of at least Dany, winning the battle? And I mean, I don't know how detailed Bran's visions are, but there could have been something in that conversation that made him pretty confident.
But it would be nice if Bran included the details. Oh, and by the way, your queen goes crazy.
Right.
And slaughters everybody. Minor detail. But I got a feeling they just worked out their strategy. So that's how I interpreted it anyway. I might be wrong about that. That's just how I'm interpreting it. All right. In complete control, will Jon Snow destroy the Iron Throne? I don't know, because I think Tyrion may tell him, like, that's the only place that you can fix the world is from that throne. Varys told him before he died, Varys told Jon, you will be a right and just ruler. A little prophetic there, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Abraham Asif writes, I need to seek counseling after this episode. So much in this episode. It's crazy, Abraham. Jeff Purr writes, Copland, Daenerys and Stallone, Varys and Jon, you blew it. For those of you who've not seen Copland, it is a Sylvester Stallone thing where he plays a cop amongst a bunch of dirty. Anyway, you got to see that, and then you'll understand what Jeff is talking about. Viet Nguyen writes, Dany told Grey Worm to execute Order 66. It was funny. I was expecting it when Dany started going nuts and burning the city, and the camera then went to Grey Worm. I thought, he's got bloodlust too. This is what he was programmed to do. This is what he was bred to do.
Oh, and she, again, using that word, provoking somebody, they had just a very quick moment where they put Missandei's last belongings in the fire.
Yeah.
That was a very quick reminder of, hey, Grey Worm, this is where you're at today.
Yeah. Whew. Yep. Yep. Execute Order 66. Start killing them all. Timothy Plott writes, can't believe I wanted Dany to rule. Hashtag die Dany die. I think a lot of people are finding themselves there right now. We'll see what happens. OMG Huntard writes, Arya going for Daenerys. Grey Worm wants Jon. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I could see that these guys who have been allies now, they could find themselves at odds.
They did have that moment where they kind of looked at each other, right?
Yeah.
I actually did have that feeling in the episode that Grey Worm might go after Jon.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of got that. You know what? I wouldn't doubt it at all if we saw that in the final episode. I won't doubt it at all. I'm not predicting it, but I wouldn't doubt it at all. Let's see. Roland Pietro writes, amazing episode. It's on like Donkey Kong. Who will chop the Mad Queen's block? And with King's Landing extra crispy, will a new throne arise in Winterfell?
Extra crispy.
Extra crispy.
That's great.
That's good. Forgive the noise, guys, but I'm dying of heat. I don't know. It's warm here in California tonight. I'm going to turn on my AC.
She created another Pompeii. Like, that town was Pompeii at the end of it, but extra crispy. That's a good one.
Yeah, King's Landing is now extra crispy. It is true. But like with the Mad Queen town, will there be a new throne in Winterfell? I don't think the entire Red Keep was brought down.
No.
So I think the throne is probably still there.
And it's iron.
I
don't know if it would melt. I don't know. Maybe it would, but.
But, it's going to be interesting. Extra crispy. King's Landing, now extra crispy. John de Benedict writes, so I guess we just witnessed Game of Thrones version of the snap, only this time no fake deaths. Maybe? No, you're right. That was essentially the snap. That really was it. I mean, it was her going nuts and wiping out the people of King's Landing. It was unnecessary. It was shocking. The battle had been won. See, here's the thing. She kept trying to justify her desire to go in there and burn everything down by, it's the only way to stop Cersei. It's the only way to stop Cersei. Well, they rung the bells. The soldiers laid down their swords. It was done. They won. She just murdered them because she wanted to murder them. And that's a big thing for them to try to come back from. Okay. I almost won writes, I'm not feeling Dany as the Mad Queen. It's never been her arc. Oh, it absolutely has been. It absolutely has been. I didn't feel this episode. Cersei is the best at looking out the window.
That's true. If there's any dissatisfaction, it was the fact that Cersei stayed in the same spot, well, for a long time duration of this episode.
That's great. Cersei's the best at looking out the window.
I mean, I think a lot of us did want to see some sort of hand-to-hand combat between the two queens, but we knew that wasn't going to happen.
I knew that was never going to happen.
Because Cersei would have just went down. Daenerys has a dragon.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't going to happen. But is that the same window that her son threw himself out of?
It looked like
I think it was the same. Same
building.
So I'm sorry. I got to read that again. I didn't feel this episode. Cersei is the best at looking out the window. That's awesome. Again, with the Dany thing, oh my God, yes, they have. They have been foreshadowing this and planting the seeds of this. They have been telling us basically in whispers for years that this is where Dany was going. And I've been telling you guys, listen to me. She's a jerk. Listen to me. No, John, she's not a jerk. She's wonderful. She's our queen. She's the breaker of chains. I've been telling you guys forever she's a jerk. And it's just they've been laying the breadcrumbs for us ever since at least season 5. They've been laying the breadcrumbs for us that this was her true colors. This was where she was heading. And I didn't see her. I thought she was going to do something to reveal her true colors on a smaller scale. I didn't think she was going to butcher the whole city. But she did, and it fits perfectly with everything they've shown us about her character up to this point. And I got it. And yes, Cersei is the best at looking out the window. That's awesome. Cinematic Galaxy writes, last time I said I felt Dany might be more dangerous than Cersei. John, you correctly said she hadn't done anything to be worse yet. How about now? Yeah, I've had a few people, Galaxy, say to me, well, maybe she'll work out worse than Cersei. I said, okay, she's not going to be worse than Cersei.
Yep. I mean, remember that scene where Cersei blew up the town with the dragon fire?
Yeah, to kill all of her enemies.
Doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, that's nothing. That was like Daenerys looked at, you blew up half the city to kill your enemies? Here, hold my beer.
Yes.
And I'm just going to kill everybody. Yeah, that was something. Okay. ZCM Zombie Custom Maps writes, did you know the Night King has an almost visible blue glowing rune on the palm of his hand right before Arya kills him in The Long Night?
You have to rewatch that.
I did not. We're probably going to have to go down, pop on HBO and double check that.
Yeah.
But was that always there? See, I wouldn't, again, I'm not hardcore enough into Game of Thrones to know this for sure, but I would have to check that out. You gave me something to stay awake tonight
Besides the Starbucks cup that's no longer there.
Besides the Starbucks cup that they've taken out. Let's see here. ZCM follows up with the Golden Company went I get it. Went out like a light, out Drake. Like a light. I love the shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Where the Golden Company commander gets back up and he sees all the Dothraki and he just then waits till the last night, turns and tries to run away.
Is the Golden Company gone? I mean, because the army's gone. I have to think all their money went to building all of those weapons.
Yep.
So
I think they're gone.
Gone.
We might find out there might be remnants left. I don't know.
Whatever then Bronn was promised, I think that's gone because Jaime's also gone. Everything's gone.
Jaime's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cameron Nielsen writes, when Tyrion told Jaime, "You was all I had," I felt it. And I bet the Golden Company wished they brought those elephants now. Though I'm not quite sure how good an elephant would have been against a dragon. But you're right. They probably did wish they brought those elephants now. And you're right. That scene in the tent, and I didn't think that was the last time they would see each other.
Really?
Again,
I did.
I'm going to watch that episode again in the next 24 hours or so. And now that I know it's their last scene, I think that scene's going to break me. I really do. There's something about brothers in movies and TV shows that really gets me. And that bond and the fact that the one was always there for the other, they've saved each other's lives multiple times. It's powerful, man. All right. Leonie Merck writes, Jorah and Missandei's deaths saw Dany lose her conscience and humanity. Yep. They were there for her at the lowest. More burnings, bend the knee or burn. Yeah, and like I said, I don't think, Anne, that we can't sit here and say that there wasn't provocation. There was absolutely provocation. But there was this veil. I feel like that Dany has had this veil, this disguise, hiding her true colors of Dany's all about Dany. I've been saying that forever. All she wants is the throne. She doesn't care about anything else. But she's been able to maintain this veil, a veil of humanity. I think she truly cared for Jorah. I think she truly cared for Missandei. I think she truly cared for a lot of stuff. But that didn't change the fact that at her core, she was still about her. And with Jorah dying, one of her moral North Stars, Missandei dying, one of the only people she truly cared about on that level, it slowly started to rip that veil away. And then now there's this threat to her getting what she wants, her throne.
Oh,
She may want Jon, and
Jon betrayed me.
Oh, Jon betrayed me. Yeah. I mean, they ripped it apart until you were left with Daenerys Targaryen laid bare. And that was her on the back of a dragon slaughtering innocent people. And it's what they've been pointing us to. But even I didn't think she was going to slaughter all those people. Let's see here. Where are we at? Ryan Lohner writes, Father's Day, Tyrion kills Tywin. Mother's Day, Cersei dies with her child. I didn't even think about that. Do you think the showrunners thought about that?
Intentional? I mean, that's brilliant thinking, though. If they actually meant to do that.
I never would have thought of that. It's a good observation, Ryan. It's a good observation. Okay, Greg C. writes, so was Cersei related to those rocks that crushed her, or was it all that foreshadowing BS? No, I think were the rocks related to her. That's good. No, I think if you think about it, she'd be killed by one of her brothers who brought her down there. The intention wasn't to kill her.
Yeah.
But...
Or was it? I mean, you just don't know.
I don't think so. He was trying to get her out through the door. He was trying to get her to the dinghy.
The thing is there's that moment where Jaime gets stuck. You know, he's trying to run in and they close the doors. And so in that amount of time for him to have to go around and then eventually how he even found Cersei. But who knows what, I don't know. I still think it was good enough to where, yes, I think he was going to try to save her. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure that he wouldn't have killed her if he had more time. Or
I don't think he would have killed her. She was carrying his child. I think he wanted to get her to say. He knew she shouldn't be queen.
Right.
But I think she was his lover and his sister and the mother of his children. I think he didn't want her dead. But he's the one who brought her down there.
Yeah. And
that's where she died. So you can say that he's responsible for her dying. It wasn't his intention, but it is what happened. Okay. Where are we at here? CJ Dunn writes, I don't know WTF gotten into Dany, but she's G-O-T to go. She's got to go. I like nice little play on words there, CJ. I like that. Stuck on Bucky. The queen is dead. Long live the queen. Yep. Sir, like right now, Dany is the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms.
She wins.
There's nobody that can stand against her.
Yeah.
Except for the people in her own company. And we'll see which one of them kind of take her out. If she gets taken out. All right, Ryan Lohner writes, John Oliver, obviously it's impossible to wrap up Game of Thrones in just one episode, and I'd hate to be on the network stupid enough to try. Did John Oliver actually say that? See, I'll tell you this. My one concern is going into the final episode. I feel like there should be 3 more episodes. Now, I have never liked Anne. I have never been happy with their decision to just do a 6-episode final season.
Right. Even though they're longer episodes.
Even though they're longer episodes, they're not that much longer. And, first of all, you cut last season down to 8 episodes. And then this season, they cut down to 6 episodes. But it just feels like you need more than 1 episode to wrap this up. Now, We haven't seen the final episode. Maybe it works.
Yeah.
But I got to say I'm a little bit worried about that because I feel we still got at least several episodes in front of us, but it's just one. All we got was one left. All right. T. Green writes, Episode 5, did this season series end justice? I completely agree, T. Green. I thought it was marvelous. The brothers squaring off, the Mountain and the Hound, all that kind of stuff. The brothers in the tent on a very different kind of brother scene. It was just so great, and I'm loving the way they've handled this. Timothy Platt writes, I knew Sansa told Tyrion on purpose. She knew this would happen the whole time. Maybe. Maybe. I think she knew she had to sow seeds, but Sansa, with all of her experiences, what she's had the last 9 years, she could see what Dany truly was.
Yeah.
And she knew that Dany being on the Iron Throne was going to be disastrous for the world. And she knew it had to be Jon. And she knew the only person that really might be able to help lean things that way is Tyrion. So I don't know if she had this in mind, but she did want to sow seeds of doubt. But I don't think she meant for a slaughter to happen, though. Anne, did you think Sansa knew that it would lead to something as tragic as this?
No, absolutely not. I think that you're right. I think that it's just kind of, what do you call it? Little bird tells another and then see what happens kind of thing, And I think it's information that you're passing, right? And it's the truth. And I think the more people that know it, at least it's out there, it's known.
Yeah. Okay. We move on now to Al Zolas, who writes, Dany needs to go before she turns on Winterfell. Yep, that's next because Sansa told Tyrion she's going to want to take down. I think there's a scene coming in the final episode where she's going to tell Jon to go kill your sister. Go kill Sansa.
Do they leave King's Landing? That is the question.
Yep, that is the big question. Do they even have time to leave King's Landing with one episode left? Adrian Watson writes, so many Dothraki soldiers. Does Dany have the Infinity Gauntlet now? Also, how great are these Game of Thrones memes and GIFs on Twitter? Actually, it's funny you mention that.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how there was a few of us sitting around tonight after the show going, the best thing about this season is all the memes and GIFs and everything afterwards. I haven't seen a lot. Have you seen a bunch?
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite thing to do is Monday morning, just check Twitter and see all the things people are making fun of. And I was just saying tonight that the Starbucks cup is the one that got me because it was so unexpected. But I'm curious to see.
Any of the ones? Have you seen any new ones tonight yet so far?
The only one that made me chuckle a little, and I don't know if it was just a tweet or there was a picture or anything, but it was everyone saying that the queen should go and slay. And here's the queen slaying. And nobody's happy. I thought that made me laugh a little bit.
All right, let's move on here. Greg C. writes, is Tormund and Ghost coming back to help take down the Dragon Queen? Will he finally pet Ghost for helping? Like I said last week, Greg, I really felt like when Jon was saying goodbye to Tormund and to Sam, I felt that was the showrunners letting us, the audience, say goodbye to Tormund and Sam and Ghost. I don't think they're long ways away, so I don't think we're going to see them again. I'd be happy if they were. I'd love to see Tormund in this series finale, but I don't think we're seeing them again. T. Green writes, that show was fire! Literally. Lots. Too soon, T. Green, too soon. Lots and lots of fire, absolutely. Henry K. writes, they took out the Golden Company in a couple of seconds. Yep. I mean, the Golden Company's great, but against a dragon, there's nothing they're going to be able to do without their planned defenses. But once they figured out how to take out those defenses, there was nothing stopping them, and they were just going to be mowed down. And sure enough, they were. Adam Langevin writes, Hound versus Mountain wanted Arya to be burnt like the Hound. You know what? For a short time there, Adam, I thought that was going to happen. I thought we were going to see something happen in there where Arya was going to be marked like Hound, and they'd have this lifelong bond, even though I thought Hound was going to die. But I thought they might be going for something like that as well. PJ Barnes writes, Jon and Grey Worm almost went at it. Who wins? Yeah, you're right. I mean, and you were saying the exact same thing, that you kind of thought they were going to head in that direction with it. I think Jon wins.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know, though. Grey Worm's been training almost his whole life as well.
He's been bred for this. But then again, Jon was in the Night's Watch.
I know.
I mean, it's...
That's hard. I don't know. We might even see it in the next episode.
We may. I think we will. I really do. I think we're going to see that in the next episode. Greg C. writes, how did Tyrion not get killed by Cersei's archers at the end of last episode? Did he zigzag? They let him go.
Yeah, I don't think they started shooting.
No,
away.
Yeah, no shooting started there. They just, if I'm not mistaken, she just let him walk. So yeah, I don't think there was no magic there. Elijah Chatham writes, Jaime's blood was literally on Cersei's hands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. There was something I think really special too about seeing this woman that we have come to see as pure evil, having a moment of humanity before she died.
Yeah.
We saw fear. She was worried about Jaime, that he was bleeding. Some people may not be happy with that, but I'll tell you what, Ann, I thought that was insightful. Letting us see the villain of the show have that moment of humanity. I thought that worked for me. What about you?
Agreed. I think her character's always been that way, right? Like, you hate her, but at the same time you care for her. She's vulnerable.
There's an empathy
she's
to her.
Strong. I mean, in this episode, she would not back down until she absolutely had to, and she really believed that they still stood a chance against Daenerys and her dragon. And it was that moment where, again, she does a very good job staring out the window, but that moment where she's staring out the window and they basically just tell her it's done. We got nothing left. And that's where she really starts to break down too. It's good.
All right. Greg C. writes, it looks like they're setting up Arya to kill Daenerys. Does she get all the best kills? Well, she didn't get Mountain. I thought she might get Mountain. She didn't get Cersei. I thought she might get Cersei. So if she does get Dany, which I'm starting to think maybe it'll be Jon or Tyrion, but if she does get Dany, that just leaves the Night King and Dany. So I think there were some other major kills I thought she might get, but they didn't actually give those to her. The Crone Doggy writes, why did Cersei not kill the small force last episode? I think there was... I think that was supposed to be negotiation. I think that whole thing was supposed to be negotiation. That you weren't supposed to... And besides, killing that small force wasn't going to do a lot at that point anyway. So I think that's what the whole thing... That was supposed to be... they're honor bound by it. We're here to discuss terms, blah, blah. Didn't work. Everybody went their separate ways and get ready for battle. So I guess that's the right thing to do in that world. Emad writes, over under 2%, Dany gets a redemption arc in the finale. 2%'s a low number. What do you think, Ann?
I'm going to say under.
I'm going to take over. Only because it's 2%. I think it's like 5%, which is pretty impossible. But I mean, I wouldn't put it by them to maybe pull something like that. Okay, Stuck on Bucky writes, Jon should have embraced the incest struggle.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what IJS. Yep, he probably. What's that mean?
I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm just saying he should have embraced the incest struggle.
I like how every time she tries to make advances at him, he's like, nope. I'm good. No.
Canada Rocks writes, crazy prediction. Dany kills Arya. Jon kills Dany.
Ooh.
There's only so many combinations left. So honestly, Canada Rocks, I don't think that's as crazy as you might think. I'm not necessarily saying that I agree, but it's not out of the realm of possibility here. Hollywood 25 writes, it's very lonely on the Jon/Dany train, but like there's no coming back for her, no coming back for me after that scene. They held hands in the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, like after the White Walkers?
No. Oh, wait.
Like after they they captured the White Walker and they were coming back, like last season.
Right.
Is that the scene when they were holding hands in the boat?
Yeah, because were they on the boat in this episode, or were they just...
Weren't they on a ship when they had sex for the first time?
Yes, but they had a conversation in this episode where he didn't want to hook up with her either. I just wasn't sure if that was on the boat or not.
I think that was still on the island.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Okay. Let's see here. Hollywood. Oh, no, that was Hollywood. Okay, Greg C. writes, over under 2%, Tyrion strangles the dragon like he did his hooker girlfriend and shoots Dany on the toilet. Wouldn't that be a little bit of...
This is like John Wick.
Wouldn't that be kind of like coming full circle? Yes. Tyrion jumps on the dragon and chokes it to death. I'm going to go on a limb here, Ann. I'm going to take under 2% on that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to take the under 2. Bold prediction, though, Greg. Bold. I like the boldness of it. The Crone Doggy writes, Danny went 0 to 100 fast. Wish her fall took longer. That's what I'm saying, guys. What, look, they have been projecting this and forecasting this and telegraphing this for years. They've been telegraphing this for years, and the final push over the edge has been over several episodes now, ever since it came to light that Jon was a Targaryen, and there truly was a threat to her wanting the throne. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if what they should have done is in season 1, have the showrunners come out with a giant whiteboard that says, Danny going crazy. I mean, that's the only way to me it could have been more obvious. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But it does, again, I didn't see the citywide slaughter. I didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be something different. Let's see. Brett WB writes, well, one that isn't divisive, Kawhi Leonard sinking that buzzer beater, go Raptors. I haven't seen it. I didn't know.
So?
Damn it. Okay, anyway. Cool Jedi 976 writes, John, remember I wrote on last week's Super Chat that Gendry and Jon are going to be the exact same roles like Robert and Ned. Yes, I do remember that. Looks like a stronger possibility now. Jon will end Danny and feel regret. Oh, I'm sure he'll feel regret. And that's why I've said for a while, I think there's a possibility here. Gendry could end up on the throne. Look, everybody argued with me, but look, Gendry actually has the most legitimate claim to the throne. The Targaryens are a deposed line. The Baratheon line is the existing living line. Robert was on the throne. He has a living son. Some people argued, yeah, but he's a bastard and a bastard can't be king. I present to you Jon Snow, who was made king in the north when they thought he was a bastard. But even that's not a problem anymore because the queen legitimized him, giving him the Baratheon name. So there's a good chance here that Jon goes, well, who's next in line? Him? He's a good kid. He's fought with me. He can be king. And maybe we do get that, Robert. I don't know. What do you think the chances are? If you had to give a percentage chance that Gendry ends up on the throne,
ooh,
what percentage chance do you give it?
I give it a 40%.
I'll go a little bit lower. I'll go 25. But I think it's a solid chance. 25, 40, I think it's a solid chance. Solid chance he ends up on there. Cool Jedi. All right. Strong Nerd writes, very disappointed how the Cersei Jaime story ended. A lot of the prophecies are not coming true. Also, the way Grey Worm looked at Jon when Jon was pulling his men back. Jon versus Grey Worm. Hi, Kaori. Well, Kaori's not here.
We'll say hi.
So sorry about that. She's in England, of course. I did like the way it ended. The Jaime Cersei thing ended. Trapped down there. Ultimately did kind of fulfill the prophecy. And you're right. As others have mentioned here, Strong Nerd, there's going to be a confrontation, I believe, between Jon and Grey Worm at some point. I just think that's coming. Whether Grey Worm is doing it defending Dany or Dany sends Grey Worm after Jon, I don't know which one, but I think you're right on the money there. I think that is coming, and we're going to see that in next episode. Because there's only one episode left, of course, Strong Nerd. Anyway, good observation. Ryan Lohner writes, I feel for all those girls who were named Daenerys or Khaleesi in the show's early years.
Look, I used to cheer for Daenerys. I really
Of
thought,
course.
like in season, I think it was 4 or 5, I was like, oh, totally, I want her to rule the 7 kingdoms, but that is really funny.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I love Game of Thrones, my favorite show. I'm going to name her Dany, Daenerys, or Khaleesi.
Oh
You're
my
right.
God.
That's an awkward conversation
She's
to have
a
with your
mass
kid
murderer
now. That is an awkward conversation, Ryan, to have with your kid now. Robert Wild writes, I have some issues with the episode, but I love the majority of it. Overall, it worked for me, but I feel like most people will hate this episode. Oh, I don't think. I think there's definitely going to be a contingent of people who don't like it. Just as there have been a contingent of people who haven't liked the whole season. Of that, I have no doubt. I don't think it's going to be most people. I think most people are going to be happy with it. I know I was really thrilled with it, but we'll have to wait and see. Diamond writes, someone should have actually killed Cersei. Ugh. You know what? At some point, me and my friend were talking downstairs, and one of the things I said, at some point, it would just feel too telegraphed. It would feel too contrived. Like, oh, we now got to set up this big thing. When in reality, if her castle's being sieged and falling apart, she's probably going to die in the castle falling apart. Not everything has to go to a script. Not everything has to be contrived. So I think she had to die. But I like the way they had her die. They gave her a really great moment, showed us a glimpse of her humanity, and dying's dying. So I kind of like what they did. I like that they went a little bit of a different direction there. Anthony DeRizzo writes, Kaori for queen, I'd bend the knee to her anytime. Well, I'm sure she would love to hear that, Anthony, but she's not here to hear it herself, unfortunately. C. Rapier Copeland writes, settle the debate between me and my wife. Uh-oh, I never liked that position. She blames Tyrion for Dany's assault by giving up Varys instead of plotting together. I say Tyrion did all he could to drive towards peace. What say you? I'm going to tell you what, C. Rapier, and I'm not just saying this because you're the one who sent in the super chat. I agree with you. He was trying to maintain loyalty in his role. He is the hand of the queen and being faithful to that, while at the same time desperately trying to push her to the right thing. Look, even if they hadn't executed Varys, that battle was happening the next day. What happened in King's Landing was going to happen whether Varys was still alive or not. And whether they were... Because Varys' plan was longer term. It wasn't get Dany out of power prior to the taking of King's Landing. I think it was for later. So I don't know that it would have made any difference. So, yeah, C. Rapier, I got to side with you. What do you think, Anne?
I think you brought it up. I was going to side with your wife, but, I mean, it's a finite amount of time that they would have had to execute anything.
Yeah.
And we saw that Varys was just not having any luck with his little birds as it was. So
remember, he was still just in the process of sending out notes.
Yes.
That was a long game he was planning.
There was not enough time. Agreed.
By the way, I don't know, Rapier. I'm just recognizing, like, I don't know if you're married to DC Copeland, who is, of course, one of our regulars here. But sorry if you are. Sorry, DC. I gotta side with your husband on this one. All right. Let's go here. My voice is starting to go a little bit here. A3 writes, personally, I think D&D were so worried about being predictable that they swerved at the cost of 7 seasons of character development and logic. And I honestly, A3, I would say you're not paying close enough attention, because this completely followed their character development and it completely followed logic to me. Now, you may have seen it a different way. Hey, it's all subjective. Your opinion of it is no more and no less valid than mine. But I got to say, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is exactly what we've seen coming. This is exactly the breadcrumb trail they've laid out. This has been completely consistent with where this thing has been going. So that's just my kind of feeling on that. Okay. And we had a big jump.
I was going to say, I can read the questions.
Can you read them from there?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me go back and see if I can find where we're at.
So you don't lose your voice.
Okay.
Oh, it's down a little bit.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Lorvensky, sorry if I mispronounced that. Cersei didn't deserve a slow, painful death.
I think you could make the argument that she did deserve a slow, painful death. But maybe she didn't. I don't know. Okay, what's next?
Amion, I can't pronounce the last name. I'm sorry. Dany has green eyes. Arya will kill her. Yes, that is a prophecy that is still to be fulfilled.
What's that prophecy?
That Arya, remember, Melisandre reminded her of it before she killed the Night King, that she would kill a person with blue eyes, a person with green eyes, and I forget the. Yeah, so she's...
I see. I think that went right over my head.
So people last week thought Cersei would be the green eyes, but really Dany's the one.
And Dany has green eyes.
I mean, maybe. I think so.
I didn't notice that either way. Okay, what's next?
All right. Jesus Garza asks, that city rooted for Ned Head. Burn them all.
Well, that's true. But remember, they were also lied to by the king and all that kind of stuff. But yep, that's the same one who called for them to chop off his head. But they were lied to. Remember, they were lied to. All right, what's next?
All right. Red Hood 420 asks, this episode had bad writing again.
Disagree. I thought the writing was great. Okay, what's next?
Bobo Vasquez, Daenerys did indeed turn into the Mad Queen. I was shocked. Grey Worm got his vengeance, but that's the short term. Sansa may still take the throne.
You know what? First of all, we've only got one episode left. So for that to be a possibility, very early in the episode, Brienne, Sansa, and a small contingent from Winterfell would need to show up and be there. And I think John would have to bequeath the throne to Sansa, but it is a possibility. And you've been saying Kaori's been kind of seeing Sansa, but I know you've been seeing Sansa as a big thing too.
Oh, yeah. I think the difference between Sansa, I love Sansa. I love her character development, but I think the difference between her on the throne and John on the throne is that I worry that John is so loyal to his convictions that when you actually need to have a strong hand in something, he might not be able to make that call, where I do think Sansa could do that.
All right, what's next?
All right, C. Rapier Copeland asks, clearly, if Jon Snow doesn't bring it to Daenerys in the final episode, all moral integrity he has gone through the entire series is lost.
It's tough because now he's finding himself in a dilemma where he is facing off against his moral compass versus his sense of what is right and what he should do and all that kind of stuff. That's now his true problem. That's the inner dilemma that he himself is going to face here. And I think that's going to be part of this episode. But again, because we only have one episode left, they can't let that dilemma drag out too long. He's got to have like a short 5-minute conversation with himself and then get to the business of killing that queen.
I don't know. I think he's screwed either way, right? If he kills her, he's going to feel regret. If someone else kills her, he's going to feel regret that he didn't save her. Like, I feel like John it's
a tough situation.
There's no way.
With a guy with that type of convictions, it's a tough situation. Okay. What is next?
All right. Brian learned stuff. Ever since season 1, we've been watching the origin story of the main villain of the series. Not the Night King, not Cersei, but Dany. Love this show.
It's brilliant the way they've done that. It's brilliant the way they set that up and laid it out. From the beginning, we've been watching the rise of the villain.
Yeah.
We've been watching the rise of the true villain. And it was only a few years ago, but it was years ago that they started planting those seeds to let us see the truth about her. But it was brilliantly done. All right, what's next?
All right, Your Grace. Did Varys burn the message that he was writing?
Well,
yeah, but he wrote a lot of them.
But he was writing several things, right? I think that was just the latest of which, probably so there wasn't evidence there, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah. All right, what's next?
Ryan Loner. This is what happens when you don't let Dany have her Starbucks. That's true.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
That's a meme tomorrow.
That's that and Cersei is the best at staring out window. These are the two best messages so far today. Okay,
it's true.
All right, I love it. All right, what's next?
Your Grace, Dany had such an evil look at the beginning.
Oh my God, they were finally showing her gone. You know what I mean? Like you could just see it in her face, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, she was exhausted. She was just gone. Mentally gone.
All right, what's next?
Eric JF 1991. No mercy. You can't just attack. You have to eradicate.
That's the thing, though. I mean, she was laying out justification early. I have to stop her. And if that means wiping out the city, then we'll wipe out the city. But the city surrendered.
I know.
They had dropped their swords. They rang the bells. It was over. And then she slaughtered them. And fear it is then. You know, it's like, whew. She's Vader. She's the new Vader. All right, what's next?
Red Hood 420. No wonder why George doesn't promote this show.
I think that's stupid. All right, what's next?
Bob Job. I feel sorry for Emilia Clarke to go like this.
Why do you feel sorry for the actress playing the role? Yeah, she's playing the role. I think, look, I've been saying for a long time, Dany's a jerk. Emilia Clarke has been awesome in this role.
Yeah.
And this is the role of a lifetime. And especially the bad turn, I think that's great. All right,
Agreed.
What's next?
All right, Alvin. She has been this person since midway through season 1. What changed was she lost all of her loyal advisors from either death or betrayal. Great season.
Yeah, again, I think when you look at it, those advisors and stuff like that, they were just helping maintain the veil. I really think deep down, Dany is about Dany, period. And the fact that she was willing to murder her own brother to get there. Now, granted, again, extenuating circumstances, provocation, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely, her brother was an idiot. But, I mean, I think it's been there. I think the roadmap's been there, Alvin. I really do. All right, what's next?
All right. Vader has risen. When Danny decimated the Golden Company, what a moment.
Oh my gosh. We were all sitting here and like all of us were sitting downstairs and it was like, what? Like when that all started going down. I mean, it was.
I feel like nobody's given Drogon his moment.
Yeah,
of shining in this episode.
Drogon was the MVP of the episode.
Drogon was kind of, he really was the MVP of this episode.
Unfortunately, sometimes in an evil way.
Yeah.
But that's what he's being commanded to do. All right, what's next?
All right. The crone doggy. Will Tyrion ever get another clever moment? I think so. I think if he's on the throne or is advising who will be on the throne.
Yeah, I think we're going to see something in the next episode. I think we got to see something come in the next episode. Okay, what's next?
Jeff Jones. Wait, built up the Golden Company. Nope, nothing. Mountain versus Hound, a joke, and Jaime and Cersei ending was horrible.
All I can say is I completely disagree. All right, what's next?
Gary Oldham. What if the last 2 episodes are just Bran showing the Starks the future so they can prevent it? It's Umbrella Academy or something.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I mean, hey, listen, guys, I just want to throw this out there right now that we are getting really late, and I'm running out of voice. So I want to try to finish off the questions that we have, but
Ooh, look at that.
But I'm going to ask you guys, please send in no more super chats. Please, no more super chats. Do not send in any more questions. We're going to try to get through all the rest that we have here, but please don't send in any more because we're getting close to 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time here, and I got to get up at 5, so we're going to keep rolling. All right, let's keep rolling right now.
Okay, critical equation, RJ and D&D. The next 10 years of Star Wars is doomed.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. What's next?
Ernesto Saucedo just sent in a super chat. Thank you. The crone doggy. I thought Danny would kill Tyrion for letting bro go.
I don't think Danny knows.
No.
That's the thing. I don't think she knows yet.
No.
And she may not. Like there might be a moment of reckoning when she wants to see Jaime. It's like, what do you mean we don't have Jaime? But I don't think as of right now that she knew. So yeah, there's that. All right, what's next?
Corey Nash just sent in a super chat. Thank you. Dylan, if John would have just slept with Danny, the entire episode would be so much different. Moral of the story, don't upset a horny queen.
That's another contender for MVP. But do you think part of it is the understanding that this is my aunt? Because they may have done that in King's Landing, but that wasn't a Winterfell kind of thing. Sleeping with relatives probably wasn't a Winterfell thing. Like,
no.
Do you think that was part of his apprehension?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to judge.
He said that doesn't happen in my town. Like, no way.
Oh, that's true. That's right. Okay, what's next?
All right. Bob Job. Cersei would have been just as bad with a dragon.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, make no mistake about it. I have you're absolutely right on that, Bob. 100%.
Ryan Loner. Olenna was the Tyrell grandmother.
Oh,
Diana Rigg.
It was me girl.
Yes.
Gosh, she was a boss.
That's right.
Oh, she was a boss.
Yeah, Cersei's with her now.
Yep, there you go. All right, what's next?
Robert Johnson. Watching Danny go on this killing spree made me feel the same way I felt watching Batman in BVS.
I'm not quite sure what you meant by that, but okay, what's next?
Ron Crawford. John should have stood up to Danny more in other episodes.
Again, I don't know if that would have been in character with him, though. You know, I mean, in other episodes, she hadn't really done much for him to see. I mean, there were a few things he was aware of, but he bent the knee, he pledged his loyalty. To him, that means everything. And it's good. I think it was going to take something like the slaughter at King's Landing to make him revisit that, because he's just that all about his oath and conviction.
And he told her in this episode, I love you. And I think that,
and you will always be my queen.
Yeah.
Tough stuff. Okay, what's next?
Oh, nope. Incomplete control. One dragon to rule them all.
I know there's only one left.
Ernesto Saucedo sent in a super chat. Thank you. PJ Barnes. Arya's killing the dragon. I thought that too. I actually thought that for.
Did they ever show what it? Did she ever use that weapon she had Gendry made?
Yeah.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she was flipping it and turning it in the battle.
In the Battle of Winterfell. Okay, so because some people thought that kind of looks like the weapon the Night King used to take down the dragon. I don't know. Maybe she does use it to take down the dragon. Who knows? That would be a kick in the pants. All right, what's next?
All right. Liam Smith. Join late. Have you talked about the Varys letter? I know he burned it, but he could have sent multiple. Unites houses against Danny. Great episode.
Oh, what? Well, the thing is, he was writing letters earlier in the episode. He was writing multiple letters. That one he burned was just the last one he happened to be working on before they came for him. So I completely believe he had written several letters and sent them out, and we could see that, or the repercussions of that, come the final episode. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. It's a great observation, Liam.
Right.
All right, what's next?
All right. Santez Henderson. I agree, John. It's all been there for Danny all along.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if in season 1 and 2, she really was more the wheel breaker, the breaker of change and all that kind of stuff in the first little bit. But it wasn't long after the start of the show that she started showing glimpses that, again, Danny was all about Danny. And it's been there. This wasn't a curveball. This wasn't out of left field. I've been saying it for years. Like, guys, is right there. But anyway, it is what it is now. I didn't think she was going to slaughter the city, but there you go. All right, what's next?
Bob Job. Theory. John will pretend to be on side, walk up to the dragon, and put Long Claw in its eye. I don't know that he's killing the dragon.
Yeah, I don't either. I think the dragon might even be loyal to him, might obey him.
Yeah.
Because he's a Targaryen.
Yeah.
Although he's not her mother. He's not his mother. So, I mean, there's that there too. But I don't know. I kind of preferring the Arya killing the dragon scenario here. All right, what's next?
Clifford Fawcett. Thanks, John, and I can't wait until next week's episode. George R.R. Martin promised a bittersweet ending. We are sure getting that.
Yeah, George R.R. Martin, who of course had watched all the episodes, he did come out and say, you're in for a treat, all this kind of stuff. So it's, what bittersweet can mean a million different things. So I have no idea what's coming in that last episode. I have no idea what's coming. All right, what's next?
All right, Joe Hill. Not invested. Haven't watched since like season 4, but the zeitgeist brought me back in, and I have been enthralled by this season. It's television excellence. I don't know how people don't like it. Arya is everything.
Our buddy Soul Video has this great Air Jordan shirt, but it says Arya, and it's Arya doing the big spread wing through the air. It looks awesome. This season has been fantastic. It's been absolutely fan-frickin-tastic. And again, I'm not the hardcore fan. I don't know the family lineages. I don't read the books, none of that. I'm just a guy who watches TV, and I'm watching this and going, holy hell, this is awesome. This is awesome. I've just been eating it up.
Agreed.
All right. Glad you liked it too, Joe Hill. All right, what's next?
Okay, I almost won. Danny has shown signs of becoming the Mad Queen, but the show has painted her a good guy.
But I think the show has been showing us how she's been painting herself.
Yeah.
She's been painting herself as the good guy. And I believe that there is a part of her that wants to be good, that sees herself as being good. Look, most villains see themselves as the good guy. Thanos, she's Thanos. You know, she sees herself as the good guy. She thinks she's doing the good and blah, blah. And what the world really needs is me on the throne. And she probably really believes that's what's best for the world. But at the core of all that has been Danny is about Danny. And if anything threatens that, she's going to get rid of it. Doesn't matter if it's Sam's dad and brother. Doesn't matter if it's Varys. Doesn't matter if it's Jon. If anybody gets in her way, she's going to eliminate them. And she's got the Targaryen bloodlust. So what was the line that Varys said in it? Said, when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin.
Yeah.
What a great line.
Yeah, it's great.
And now we know which way the coin flipped on her. All right, what's next?
All right. Luis, will we see Jon now make claim for the throne?
If he thinks it's the only way to save the world, he may and then give the throne up. What do you think?
I think so. I think that would be the only way. But he's been saying it so much that he doesn't want it that I just don't see why all of a sudden he would.
I think he may just do it out of duty.
Right.
Out of duty. I don't know. Okay, what's next?
That Norwegian guy. The leaks have been
name.
confirmed to be true. All of us who read them knew all of this weeks ago. Jon kills Danny.
We'll see about that. I mean, it seems that's the obvious thing. It's the obvious thing, but we'll see if that actually turns out to be true. All right, what's next?
Deadpool Chinese. Behind the scenes video on this episode got 2,000 more dislikes now. Wow.
Whatever. All right, what's next?
Gisberto Guzzo, I think the Iron Throne as we know it will be no more. Do you see them having independent kingdoms with a different ruler for each? That's my thought.
Well, that's kind of what Corey's been saying about the idea of there being a republic sort of notion. I don't think that's how this ends, though. That would seem like really quick, because it hasn't been an idea that's been floated and all that kind of stuff in the show. It would just have to come out of left field. And I don't know if they're going to do that. But like Kaori's been presenting that. Do you think that's an actual possibility, Ann?
Yeah, I've kind of bought into her theory as well. I think with all the people that we've been speculating on the throne, I wouldn't be surprised if they just decided to do that instead.
Okay, what's next?
All right, so we are at...
Ionization?
Yeah, Ionization 2020. Love Varys going Donnie Brasco on us with rings. Yeah, he did take them all off.
Yes, he did. That was a really great scene. That was very, very well done. I like that a lot. All right, what's next?
El Cartoon. It's now up to the Stark siblings to write things.
Yeah, I'm still wondering if they all show up.
There's a chance. They could.
John
they could have been traveling this whole episode.
John and Arya are already there already. But so will Sansa show up with Brienne of Tarth?
Yeah.
That's the question. And you might be right, El Carton. That could be very well what happens here. All right, what's next?
Don't forget about the classics. Jon got burned killing a walker with a lantern.
I don't remember. I don't doubt you. I'm just saying I don't remember it. But yeah, that could throw a wrench in all this.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Mr. Club, is it? Over under 30%. Dany goes back to Marine because she loved there and she's broken the wheel.
I don't think she's getting out alive.
Yeah.
I think she's dead. I think she got to die. I think she got to die, but you never know. They could throw us a curveball and she may get out of this, but I don't think they will, so I don't see that happening. So I'm going to take under 30% on that. Under as well? Okay.
Same.
What's next?
Are we at Cheryl Morris?
Yep.
Tyrion is going to be in trouble for freeing Jaime. Dany won't be happy. I know. That's going to play out.
Yeah. I have no doubt. I don't think she knew, but now that the battle's there, at some point she's going to be, bring me the Lannister. Mm-hmm. It's like, we don't have the Lannister. What do you mean we don't have the Lannister? And I don't know if Tyrion could end up on the throne, but Tyrion may not live past the midway point of the next episode.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances are that he dies?
Oh, shoot. I actually think they're pretty high. I would say 75% chance.
Whoa, that high.
Yeah.
I'll go a little lower. I'll say 60, but yeah, there's a good chance he ends up dead. Ooh, it's not going to be pretty, Cheryl. It's not going to be pretty.
Bittersweet.
All right, what's next?
Jeremiah Russell sends in a super chat. Thank you. Bear Falcon, who did die at Winterfell? Not enough to give Lannisters, Golden Company, no elephants, and Iron Fleet even a slim chance, I guess. Characters have been great. Battles just haven't made any sense to me.
I think, here's the thing. The way I interpret it as, Daenerys' forces, when you count everybody, the men of the North, the free folk, the Dothraki, the Unsullied, the dragons, King's Landing stood no chance. No chance. But then with all the forces that they lost, it became a little bit more of an even potential fight. But they still had dragons, and they still had hers. They were able to take out one dragon in the ambush, but they weren't able to take out both.
Yeah.
They were able to get away, plan for it accordingly, come in, take out all those weapons, and then it became an overwhelming slaughter at that point. So that's kind of how I saw that all playing out.
Agreed.
But what I will agree with you is that while I have really enjoyed the battles have been dwarfed, no pun intended, by the character dynamics and the character drama. It's what people were complaining about episode 1 and 2. I'm like, I am loving these. They were some of my favorite episodes of Game of Thrones ever. It's just because it was all character dynamics, character drama, all that kind of stuff. I ate it up, and I loved it so much. And I think that's been better than the battle stuff.
Yeah,
I really do.
And I've loved the battles. I don't think they've been disappointing to me. I think maybe they just didn't end the way you wanted them to.
All right, what's next?
All right, so Bob Job theory: Dany will burn to death. Dany has become corrupted. Her brother was ass, and he wasn't fireproof.
Well, how did they ultimately kill her brother? Didn't they pour melted gold on him or something like that? Or melted... Oh, it was
melted metal.
Horrific. I don't know. I just don't see... Here's the big problem. I don't see Grey Worm turning against her.
No, he's far gone too, I think, at this point.
The Unsullied are not going to turn against her. So that... There could be a real problem next episode. Like a real problem. All right, what's next?
All right. Kelsey Orlando, did anyone else catch that Cersei planted wildfire around the city? You see the green fire through the episode in the midst of Dragonfire.
Yes. Now, what I didn't know was, is that leftover from the previous shenanigans that maybe, like, remember, the Mad King supposedly planted it all over the place.
Yeah.
Was that leftover stuff that maybe even Cersei didn't know about? Was it leftover stuff that Cersei had planted from her own plot in season 6, I think it was?
Yeah.
Was it something new that they just put out there now? I honestly have my interpretation of it at first was just that it's just leftover from other times, but I could be wrong about that. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's just a part of the town at this point. Whether it was Cersei who did it or it was just left over, I think that just signifies that that's part of King's Landing, right?
Maybe.
All right, so then next is Darth. I can't read that from here.
Darth Devo Knievel?
Darth Devo Knievel?
That sounds
Night King died. Dany started going mad connection.
See, the thing is, though, Darth Devo Knievel is that, by the way, very clever name. They've been showing this path started a long time ago. So I know, personally, I don't think there's a connection. I thought they showed this, but she was starting down this path a while ago. So that's how I see it, at any rate. All right, what's next?
Isaac Mahid asks, what did you think of the way Cersei died? I thought it was a letdown. They tried to make her sympathetic, but I couldn't feel it. She's just so evil.
I think it was a great move to have us see a moment of her humanity in there. Because remember, throughout the show, this is a woman who has been screwed over more ways than you can imagine. Mm-hmm. From a despicable husband in Robert who was terrible to her, to her children dying, to the what the Sparrow did to her. Everything was about that. And it led her to a certain point. I think we can understand and believe she's got to go, but at the same time be reminded at the last moment of her humanity at the same time. Those are not polar opposites. That's not a contradiction. That's the nature of humanity. Mm. And I like the fact, because she's never been, throughout the history of the show, just a pure black and white, pure evil, incarnation of evil character. She's done some damn evil things. She's also had some damn evil things done to her. And I like the fact that they kind of reminded us of her humanity at the end and gave us that moment with her. And yeah, I appreciated it. I did. I bought it. I dug it. Okay,
Agreed.
What's next?
All right. So Oberyn, the Red Viper Martell, lost. Biggest disappointment, got hold my beer.
Again, disagree. I think this has been fantastic. All right, what's next?
Incomplete control. Arya has more lives than a cat.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
There are a number of those explosion scenes where I thought, oh, she's dead. Oh, no, she just came through the smoke. Oh, she's dead. No, she just came through the smoke. I mean, you're absolutely right. She really, really does. All right, what's next?
Phoenix Arising. John and Dany got to go. I'm done. LOL.
I think there is a good chance, Phoenix, that they're both gone.
Yeah.
Look, the obvious thing is John ends up on the throne. But I got a feeling there's a very good chance he ends up dead too. He may die taking Dany out. I mean, I don't know, but I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of tragedy in this one. Like George R. R. Martin said, there's bittersweet in this one. Agreed. And I think we could see them both end up being dead. All right, what's next? All
right, Ryan Sampler. No way Arya doesn't go after Dany now. She's dead.
Yeah, I could see the argument that she's going to take the Hound's advice to heart and just go off and maybe find Gendry, but after seeing that mom and her little girl burned in the street, yeah, I think she's going after Dany. All right, what's next? Phoenix
Arising. Giving Cersei a moment of humanity was very classy.
Completely agree. I 100% agree with that. I thought that was a really nice moment. All right, what's next?
Eric DeRigi. Define irony. Varys dies doing what Ned did. Ned did?
Well, I mean, Ned, if I remember, he died trying to let the world know there was another Baratheon, that the king, that Joffrey was not the true king. Joffrey wasn't even Robert's son, and he was trying to let people know about who the true king was. And in that, you're absolutely right. I didn't think about it in that terms. You're right. Varys died doing what Ned was doing at the same time. Good observation. I didn't even think about that. Okay, what's next?
Brett WB. Sorry, I didn't know.
I don't know what that means.
No, I don't either. We don't either.
What's next?
Shelby Chirico, Danny equals Thanos, mass killing for the greater good.
I was just saying that myself a second ago. Danny is Thanos.
Ra's al Ghul, all those people who think
they see themselves as the hero. She thinks they're the good guy, even put on this veil, and it's like, doesn't understand why everybody doesn't love them. Like, Thanos is like, you should be thanking me. You should be grateful. Danny's like, oh. No, I think it's an apt comparison. I really do. Okay, what's next?
All right.
Wait a second. We got lost here. So many.
There.
Okay. There we go.
Lone Wolf X6 Braun of the Blackwater, get the throne. LOL.
I don't. You know, we were talking before the show with a bunch of friends here. And it's like, well, you know, do you think Braun pops up here? I said, I honestly think Braun is done. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see Braun again.
It just sucks because he's not getting any deals out of any of it.
Yeah, he ain't. But I think that was his farewell. When he said goodbye to the brothers, I think that was also him saying goodbye to the audience. So I don't think he's back. But I know you're just joking about him getting thrown, but wouldn't that be a kick in the pants? All right, what's next?
Okay, so Benny95, with the Red Keep being destroyed, is there even an Iron Throne left? My prediction is that Winterfell, the North, will be the new Iron Throne.
I think it's still there. I don't think the entire Red Keep collapsed. I think part of it is still there, and I bet the throne room is still there. I don't know that. They didn't show it, but I bet it's still there.
The interesting thing that I just thought of is that they have to move the throne at this point, right? There's no town left.
Yeah.
What are you going to do there?
Yeah, so maybe he's right. Maybe like Winterfell becomes a new center of power, or Marine becomes a new center of power, or somewhere else. Who knows? All right, what's next?
All right, Phoenix Arising. I bend the knee to the true Queen Anne. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's
best super chat ever? Robert Johnson. Danny wasn't eating, and Varys had a spy kid in the kitchen. Was Varys trying to poison Danny?
Oh. I don't think he had come to that point yet.
That would be sneaky, though.
That would be sneaky, but I don't think he had come to that point yet. But I'll be honest with you, Robert, I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. But is he himself a murderer? Like, if he was just going to kill her, why was he writing letters for support to other...
I'm not sure.
But I hadn't even considered that, Robert. You might be onto something. I'm not sure, but you might be onto something. All right, what's next?
Echo Base Network. Danny had the power to turn off the aim bot setting on those scorpions tonight. Over under 20% Jaime and Cersei are dead. Love the show, but not overjoyed with this season. Seems rushed and a mess.
Again, I don't think she turned off the aim. It's that the last ones, the dragons were just flying straight. They were caught them by surprise. They had no idea what was coming. They could just aim them. Boom, done. This one, they figured out how they could subvert that, and it was fine. I do not think Jaime and Cersei are alive. I think if they come climbing out of the rubble next episode, I'll be pretty unhappy with that because I like the way that they gave them a good send-off. They should leave it at that, I think. And I have been overjoyed with this season. And I have not felt it rushed at all until right now.
Yeah.
Now feeling like, wait, we're only where we're at and there's only one episode left? This is the first time this season I felt at all like anything felt rushed. I'm very, very curious. I'm a little nervous, but also very curious to see how they're going to handle all this because I'm afraid the final one just may be bang, 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 the end. Do. Like, I don't know. But I haven't felt that up to this point. Okay, what's next?
Tim Drake. Baratheons were accepted as kings after Targaryens was because Robert's grandmother was a Targaryen. That's how they excused it anyway.
I don't even know that they had to excuse it. I mean, they deposed him. They deposed the Targaryen line.
Yeah.
It was now the Baratheon line. So I didn't really look. I don't think I ever looked into it more than that. But there is a connection there in the past. You're right about that. All right, what's next?
Dylan Fontaine. Danny will try to execute Jon or Tyrion right after she gives the cue. Bran will warg into the dragon and bite Danny in the half T-Rex style. Badass. I love that. I hadn't even thought about that. I love it so much. If Bran... Can Bran warg a dragon? I don't know. That would be some serious badassery if that happened. I hadn't even considered that. Let's keep our eyes open for that, Dylan, because I like it. Let's see if that's the way they go. All right, what's next? Rob Korzak, love the episode, blew my mind what Danny did.
Oh, yeah. It was, again, they showed us this where it was going, and yet we were still stunned and shocked by it. It was just incredible. All right, what's next?
So random. Last scene, Littlefinger takes off Sansa's face. What? Yeah. I actually thought Littlefinger would make it to the very end, but...
Oh, I remember when they killed Littlefinger last season. It was like...
I know.
What? Yeah, oh my God. No, absolutely. Okay, what's next?
All right, Eric DeRigi. I knew Dany was evil way back in season 1 when Drogo killed her, bro, and she had no emotions. She just watched and smiled.
I see, that's the thing, Eric. I think that is the thing. If you go back, they have been dropped. I mean, they became more pronounced in season 4, season 5. But if you go back throughout the history of the character, they have dropped hints along the way that there was something rotten inside. Maybe maybe even she didn't recognize it, but they have shown us and given us hints and clues all series that there was something rotten inside.
Yeah.
And that's a good observation about that, Eric. I like it. All right, what's next?
Echo Base Network. John could have saved the whole city if he would have gave her that magic D. And I need you to hook me up with one of those Jabba sail barges, please. LOL. I want one myself. I don't even have one.
And Robert Meyer Burnett has been begging you for one for a while. Everyone's been asking for those damn things. If he had just sucked it up and planted one in his aunt, everything might have been. It's still going to go south. Everything was still going to go south. But hey, if she wasn't sexually frustrated, maybe she would have. Oh my
God, come on.
Maybe when the bells rang and the soldiers laid down. No, okay. All right, what's next?
Nicholas Glenn. I love Rob, but Anne is a better looking co-host. LOL.
You're not going to get any disagreement out of me. She is. She's much better.
Gene Kelly. Hey, haters. Rhaegal didn't have a rider. That's why he got hit, and Drogon didn't. Try again.
Yeah, well, that and the thing was, remember, they caught them totally off guard.
Yeah.
He took the first spear, and then he was just a sitting duck. The other one's like, oh, now they're shooting at me, and they were able to fly around there. And yeah, he didn't have a rider at the same time, but I think it was more just that he got caught completely off guard.
Oh, yeah.
And once he got hit with the first one, there was no dodging anything. So
exactly, and they foreshadowed it at the beginning of the episode when they showed how long it takes to, what's the right appropriate thing? Cock that weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. It takes a long time.
You can say it again, Ann. What did they do to the weapon?
Moving on to the next question.
Okay, next one.
Jacob King, hail the Mad Queen, I guess.
Yeah, she is indeed the Mad Queen. All right, and we are now to the final comment tonight. What is the final one tonight?
Julian Martin, what if Dany tries to kill everyone in her camp using Drogon, but Bran stops her by controlling Drogon, fulfilling the prophecy of him flying like the original three-eyed raven said he would?
Again, I had never even thought.
I love that.
Or considered the idea or the notion that Bran could actually warg into a dragon. And if they do, all I can think about is those initial conversations he had with that boy as they were dragging Bran through the wilderness, and the boy teaching him about warging, because that boy was a warg as well, right? Mm-hmm. It takes me all the way back to that. Has this been foreshadowed this whole time that he would warg into a dragon? I don't know, but if they do that, that would be awesome. Yet another thing that they hit us with out of nowhere, yet they have been planting hints and planting clues all show.
Yeah.
That this was where they're going with it. So that would be interesting. Okay, guys. That will do it for this installment of our post Game of Thrones wrap up here. And final thoughts on where you think the final episode is taking us.
I don't know. And I think that's the beauty of this show. I actually want to just go back and watch it from each character's story arc just to try to figure out if I missed 1,000 things watching this show. But I think we're going to be very surprised with what the ending's going to be. I guess we'll have to wait and see whether I like the ending or not.
I think... Man, I didn't think about it at all before, but now that you guys are talking about Bran maybe warging into the dragon, oh my God, now I want that to happen so bad. Who's going to be on the throne? Is it going to be Jon? Is it going to be Dany? Is it going to be Tyrion? Will it be Gendry? Will it be Arya? Will it be Sansa? Will it be somebody else entirely that we're not even thinking about? We're going to find out. There is only one episode left in this historic series, Game of Thrones, coming up next week. Don't forget to come back and join us. We'll probably have a little bit of a longer post show as well. And Kaori will be back again next week, of course. Guys, thanks so much for being here and joining us for this. For Ann Campea, I am John Campea. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.